In the depths of human experience lies a fascinating paradox that Marcus Aurelius captured centuries ago, one that echoes through time and speaks to every soul walking this earth today. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Look around you, dear viewers. In our modern world, this contradiction has grown even more profound. We are all actors on a grand digital stage, performing for likes, shares, and the fleeting validation of strangers. We wake to check notifications, measure our worth in followers, and shape our lives around others' expectations, all while supposedly loving ourselves more than anyone else. Think about how this manifests in our daily lives. The person who stays in an unfulfilling job because it looks impressive on paper. The individual who edits their vacation photos for hours to create the perfect Instagram post. The teenager who changes their interest to fit in with their peers. In some way, we are all dancing to the rhythm of external validation. But here's the profound truth. While we naturally prioritize our own needs, comfort, and happiness over others, we paradoxically entrust the evaluation of our worth to these same others, whose needs we place second to our own. Isn't this a remarkable contradiction? This wisdom transcends cultural boundaries and speaks to a universal human experience. People wrestle with this same internal conflict from Tokyo to Toronto and Lagos to London. We love ourselves enough to pursue our interests, yet we often abandon these pursuits when met with raised eyebrows or questioning glances. What can humanity learn from this? It may be time for a collective awakening. Imagine a world where we maintain the natural self-love we all possess, while simultaneously trusting our own judgment as much as we trust others. Not a world of selfishness, but one of authentic self-trust. For those watching who recognize themselves in this pattern, consider this. The next time you make a decision, ask yourself whether it springs from your authentic desires or from the anticipated reactions of others. Your answer might surprise you. Remember, the opinions of others are like clouds passing across the sky of your consciousness. They may temporarily block the sun, but they cannot diminish its existence. Your inner wisdom and self-knowledge are the true north of your compass. In our hyper-connected world, this ancient wisdom becomes not just philosophical musing, but a survival guide. It's an invitation to all of humanity to restore balance, to love ourselves deeply while giving proper weight to our judgments. Let's carry this wisdom forward as we navigate this complex modern world together. Let's recognize this paradox in ourselves and gently work to resolve it. In doing so, we might find that authentic path we've been seeking all along. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Abraham Lincoln. In this simple statement lies one of humanity's most significant challenges. Every day, across the globe, billions of people face this battle between immediate gratification and long-term fulfillment. Think about it. In this very moment, countless individuals are choosing between watching another episode on Netflix or getting adequate sleep, ordering takeout or preparing a healthy meal, scrolling social media, or working on their dreams. Lincoln captures the principle of self-control and the essence of human advancement. Consider how this plays out in our modern world. The entrepreneur who sacrifices leisure for late-night planning sessions. The athlete who rises before dawn while competitors sleep. The student who studies while friends party. These aren't just acts of willpower. They're choices between the immediate and the ultimate. But here's what makes this wisdom particularly relevant today. We live in an unprecedented age of instant gratification. Our phones buzz with notifications, promising immediate dopamine hits. One-click purchases deliver desires to our doorsteps within hours. Our world seems designed to erode discipline. Fast food, fast fashion, fast everything. Yet paradoxically, this makes Lincoln's wisdom more vital than ever. The gap between now and most has become a chasm that defines success and fulfillment in modern life. Those who can bridge this gap through discipline often achieve what others deem impossible. Let's weave in Jung's profound declaration. You are not what happened to you. This statement stands as a powerful complement to Lincoln's wisdom about discipline. While Lincoln speaks to our future choices, Jung addresses our past experiences. Together, they form a complete philosophy of personal empowerment. Think about how these ideas dance together. Your past experiences may have shaped your present circumstances, but they don't dictate your future choices. You might have grown up in poverty, faced discrimination, or endured trauma. But these experiences, while significant, are not your destiny. In our modern context, this message resonates with particular power. We live in an era where people often wear their traumas like badges, where past hurts can become central to identity. Social media platforms overflow with stories of victimhood, some legitimate, others cultivated. But Jung's wisdom cuts through this narrative like a light blade through darkness. Consider how these two wisdoms interlock. Your discipline, your choice between the now and the most, isn't limited by what happened to you. Your ability to make better choices doesn't depend on your history, but on your present commitment to growth. Imagine someone who grew up in a household where financial literacy was never taught. Jung tells us this past does not bind them. Lincoln shows us how they can choose financial education over immediate spending. Together, these insights create a pathway to transformation. But the important thing here is, these quotes aren't just about individual choices or past experiences. They're about the fundamental nature of human potential. When we understand that we're not bound by our past, Jung, and have the power to choose our future through discipline, Lincoln, we access a kind of freedom that few realize exists. In our modern world, where mental health challenges are rising and instant gratification is the norm, this combined wisdom offers a powerful antidote. They tell us that we can choose differently today, no matter what happened yesterday. They remind us that every moment presents a choice between what we want now and what we want most. To everyone watching who feels trapped by their past or struggles with discipline, understand that these two pieces of wisdom are like keys to a prison you might have thought inescapable. Your past experiences may have influenced you, but they don't define you. Your present urges may be strong, but they don't control you. The practical application is clear. Start viewing your daily choices through this dual lens. When faced with a decision, remember that your past doesn't dictate your choice. You are free to choose what serves your ultimate goals. Whether it's breaking generational patterns, overcoming personal trauma, or building new habits, you stand at the intersection of Lincoln's discipline and Jung's liberation. As we close our exploration of this intertwined wisdom, remember, every time you choose long-term benefit over immediate pleasure, you're not just practicing discipline. You're also proving that you are indeed more than what happened to you. You're writing a new story, one conscious choice at a time. The power of these combined insights lies not just in their individual truths, but in how they complement each other to provide a complete philosophy of personal transformation. They remind us that while we cannot change our past, we absolutely can choose our future, one disciplined decision at a time. No loss should be more regrettable to us than losing our time, for it's irretrievable. This is Zeno's powerful observation about time. Consider this truth for a moment. Money lost can be regained. Relationships can be rebuilt. Material possessions can be replaced. But time? Once a moment passes, it's gone forever, swept away into the eternal river of existence, never to return. This wisdom cuts even more profound in our modern world than in Zeno's time. We live in an age of unprecedented time theft. Notifications continuously fragment our attention, our hours consumed by mindless scrolling, our days dissolved in the acid of busy work that adds no real value to our lives or the world. Take a moment to think about it. How many hours have you spent this week watching others live their lives on social media? How many precious moments have evaporated while you sat in traffic, mindlessly commuting to a job that doesn't fulfill you? How many evenings have disappeared into the void of streaming services, one auto-played episode at a time? The tragedy isn't just in the loss of time. It's in our failure to recognize its irreplaceability. We treat time as an infinite resource, but each of us has a finite number of heartbeats, a limited number of sunrises to witness, and a counted quantity of breaths to take. But here's where this ancient wisdom intersects beautifully with this quote: "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." This declaration of personal power illuminates the path forward. While we cannot recover lost time, we have the power to choose how we spend the time we have left. When woven together, these two quotes create a tapestry of profound truth about human existence and potential. Consider how they complement each other. Zeno reminds us of the preciousness of time, while the second quote empowers us to use that time intentionally, to shape ourselves rather than be shaped by circumstances. In our modern context, this combination of wisdom is revolutionary. We live in an era where many people feel both rushed and stuck, running on the hamster wheel of daily life while feeling trapped by their past experiences. But these quotes tell us something different. They tell us that while time is irretrievable, each new moment is an opportunity for conscious choice and meaningful change. Think about how this applies to our daily lives. Every morning when you wake up, you're faced with a choice. Will you let this precious, irretrievable day be consumed by the reaction to what has happened to you? Or will you intentionally direct it toward what you choose to become? Imagine someone who has experienced failure in their past, perhaps a business venture that collapsed, or a relationship that ended painfully. The second quote tells them these experiences do not define them, but Zeno's wisdom adds urgency to this truth. Yes, you can choose to become something new, but don't waste time dwelling in the past, for that time is gone forever. The synthesis of this wisdom creates a decisive mandate for living. Be intentional with your time because it's finite, and use it to shape yourself actively rather than letting past experiences define you. This isn't just philosophy. It's a practical guide for living in our distracted, often wounded modern world. Understanding these combined truths can be liberating to everyone watching who feels trapped by their past or anxious about wasted time. Yes, you may have lost time. Yes, you may have experienced hardship, but this present moment, this precious, irretrievable instant, is yours to use in service of what you choose to become. The practical implications are profound. Start viewing your time through this dual lens. Ask yourself, is this activity moving me toward what I choose to become? Or am I letting precious moments slip away? Whether scrolling through social media, holding on to past hurts, or engaging in activities that don't serve your growth, every moment is a choice. Consider implementing what I call the conscious becoming practice. Each morning, take a moment to acknowledge both the finite nature of time and your power to choose your becoming. Ask yourself, how will I use these irretrievable hours to shape who I am becoming? This simple practice can transform how you approach your days. Remember, while we cannot bank time like money, we can invest it in our becoming. Every moment spent in intentional growth, conscious choice, and moving toward what we choose to become are moments not lost, but transformed into the essence of who we are becoming. These combined insights offer us both a warning and a promise. The warning is that time, once lost, cannot be recovered. The promise is that each new moment carries the potential for transformation, conscious becoming, and choice. Ultimately, the most profound truth lies in how this wisdom intersects. The most regrettable loss of time is believing we are only what happened to us rather than actively choosing what we will become. In the quiet depths of his meditations, Marcus Aurelius offers us one of the most sobering yet empowering truths about human existence. Let's explore this profound insight that speaks directly to the heart of our modern condition. There is a limit to the time assigned to you, and if you don't use it to free yourself, it will be gone and will never return. Consider for a moment the weight of these words. In our age of seeming abundance, where we can pause videos, reschedule meetings, and delay notifications, we've created an illusion that time is flexible, manageable, and even infinite. But Marcus Aurelius cuts through this illusion with surgical precision. Look around you. At this very moment, millions are trapped in digital labyrinths of their own making, endlessly scrolling through social media, binge-watching series after series, constantly responding to the urgent but unimportant. We've become masters at filling our time, yet novices at using it to free ourselves. But what does it mean to free yourself? In our context, it's about liberation from the very chains we willingly wear. The addiction to validation through likes and shares, the constant comparison with carefully curated lives of others, the endless pursuit of material possessions that promise happiness but deliver only temporary satisfaction. The profound truth here is the connection between time and freedom. Marcus isn't merely saying time is limited. We all know this intellectually. He's saying something far more powerful, that time is the currency of liberation, and we often spend it on maintaining our own captivity. Think about your own life. How much of your limited time is spent on activities that genuinely free you? How many hours go toward breaking the mental chains that hold you back? Whether it's learning new skills, developing emotional intelligence, building meaningful relationships, or creating something that outlasts you, these activities lead to true freedom. The urgency in Marcus's words becomes even more relevant in our modern world. We live in an age where distractions aren't just present, they're engineered to capture our attention. Each notification, each autoplay feature, and each infinite scroll is designed to keep us bound to the present moment's trivial concerns rather than investing in our liberation. In spite of all this, here is the revolutionary truth. Each moment carries the potential for liberation. Every time you choose to read a book instead of scrolling social media, to create instead of consume, to reflect instead of react, you're using time, as Marcus advised, as a tool for freedom. Remember, this time limit isn't meant to induce anxiety, but to inspire action. It's a call to consciousness, intentional living, and using our finite moments for true liberation rather than temporary escape. As the seconds tick by while you're watching this, ask yourself, is this moment bringing you closer to freedom or binding you tighter to your constraints? Are you using time, or is time using you? In the end, Marcus Aurelius isn't just sharing a philosophy. He's offering us a choice we must make again and again, moment by moment, until our assigned time runs out. In the tapestry of human wisdom, Benjamin Franklin weaves together a profound blueprint for living that resonates perhaps even more powerfully in our modern age than it did in his time. Let's unravel this rich wisdom that speaks to both personal growth and social harmony. Be at war with your vices, at peace with your neighbors, and let every new year find you a better man. Notice how Franklin constructs this three-part harmony of human development. It's a masterful prescription for living that balances inner struggle with outer peace, all while maintaining a trajectory of continuous improvement. First, consider the militant language. Be at war with your vices. In our modern era of self-acceptance and comfort-seeking, this might seem harsh, but Franklin understood something vital. Our vices aren't merely bad habits, but internal enemies that sabotage our potential. Think about your vices in today's context. Perhaps it's the endless scroll through social media when you should be creating. Maybe it's the comfort of procrastination, the indulgence in gossip, or the habit of avoiding difficult conversations. Franklin tells us not to indulge these tendencies, not to make peace with them, but to wage war against them. Yet, in the same breath, he advocates for peace with our neighbors. Its wisdom becomes crucial in our increasingly divided world, where social media amplifies differences and algorithms push us into echo chambers. Being at peace with neighbors doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say or do. It means choosing the harmony of the community over the satisfaction of being right. The final part, let every new year find you a better man, is perhaps the most profound. Notice how Franklin doesn't say, make yourself better or become perfect. Instead, he suggests a natural progression, like the rings of a tree growing wider each year. It's about consistent, gradual improvement rather than dramatic transformation. In our age of instant gratification and viral success stories, this patient approach to personal growth feels revolutionary. It's not about overnight changes or 30-day challenges. It's about the steady march toward being better, not perfect, just better than last year. Consider how these three elements work together. The internal war against our vices creates the energy for growth. The peace with neighbors provides the stable foundation for that growth. And the yearly improvement gives us the direction and patience needed for sustainable change. In practice, this might mean deleting social media apps that waste your time while simultaneously connecting with neighbors with different views. It might mean fighting against your tendency to avoid exercise while building bridges with your community. It's about balancing the warrior and the peacemaker within you. Franklin's words offer a balanced path forward for those watching who feel overwhelmed by self-improvement demands or social tensions. You don't have to perfect everything at once. Maintain the war against what holds you back. Cultivate peace in your external relationships and trust that time will reveal your progress. Remember, progress isn't always visible at the moment. Like a sculptor removing what doesn't belong, sometimes growth is about what you chip away, the vices you slowly overcome, the peaceful moments you create, and the subtle ways you improve year after year. Expecting is the greatest impediment to living. In anticipation of tomorrow, it loses today. Seneca. In our modern world, this wisdom cuts deeper than ever before. We live in an age of constant anticipation, waiting for notifications, counting down to weekends, planning for retirement, and dreaming of that next big purchase. Our smartphones have become portals of expectation, constantly pulling us out of the present moment, with promises of what's to come. Think about how many moments of your life are spent in anticipation. The morning commute was spent thinking about work. The workday was spent thinking about evening plans. The evening was spent planning tomorrow. We've become future-dwelling creatures, rarely fully present in our own lives. But Seneca isn't merely pointing out this tendency. He's identifying it as the greatest impediment to living. Not pain, not adversity, not external circumstances, but our own habit of living in expectation. The tragedy isn't just that we miss the present. It's that we miss it while chasing shadows of a future that may never materialize as we imagine. Now, let's weave in Marcus Aurelius's complementary insight. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Notice how beautifully these two wisdoms dance together. While Seneca warns us about losing the present to future expectations, Marcus provides the antidote. Trust in our current capabilities to handle whatever comes. It's a powerful combination of insight and solution. In our anxiety-ridden era, where people increasingly suffer from future-focused disorders, these combined wisdoms offer a remarkable pathway to peace. Consider how many of our modern stresses stem from anticipated problems. Will AI take my job? Will climate change destroy our future? Will I have enough for retirement? Will I ever find the right partner? But here's where Marcus's wisdom becomes revolutionary. The tools you have today, your reason, your resilience, your ability to adapt and overcome, these same tools will be available to you tomorrow. Just as you've handled past challenges, you'll handle future ones, one present moment at a time. Think about how these insights apply to our daily lives. When you anxiously scroll through news about future threats, remember Marcus's assurance that your reason will remain a constant companion. When you catch yourself missing your child's laughter because you're worried about their college fund, recall Seneca's warning about losing today. Combining these pearls of wisdom creates a robust framework for living. Be present today while maintaining quiet confidence in your ability to handle tomorrow. This isn't about ignoring the future. It's about not letting it steal the present moment from you. To everyone watching who feels trapped between present responsibilities and future anxieties, these ancient philosophers offer a path forward. Your worry about tomorrow doesn't prepare you better. It only robs you of today's strength and joy. Consider implementing what I call the present reason practice. When future concerns arise, acknowledge them briefly. Then remind yourself that the same reasoning power you're using right now will be available to you. This simple mental shift can transform anxiety into quiet confidence. The practical implications extend beyond personal peace. In our professional lives, how many meetings are spent worrying about future quarters instead of solving today's challenges? How often do we miss genuine connections in our relationships because we're preoccupied with what might go wrong? These philosophers aren't asking us to abandon planning or preparation. Instead, they invite us to find the spot between proper preparation and paralyzing expectations. It's about maintaining awareness of the future without letting it colonize the present. Remember, the present moment is where life actually happens. It's where decisions are made, love is felt, work is accomplished, and change occurs. When we sacrifice it to future concerns, we're trading reality for imagination, substance for shadow. The combined message is clear. Live fully today while maintaining quiet confidence about tomorrow. Let your present actions be deliberate and focused, trusting that these same capabilities will serve you when tomorrow becomes today. In practice, this means engaging fully with what's in front of you, whether it's work, relationships, or personal development. while maintaining a calm assurance about your ability to handle what comes next. It's about finding that balance between presence and preparation, between engagement and expectation. The most profound truth lies in how these philosophies complement each other. By trusting in our ability to handle the future, we fully free ourselves to live in the present. And by fully living in the present, we strengthen the capabilities that will serve us tomorrow. Now, we delve into two profound declarations about human power and liberation, insights that speak directly to our modern struggle for authenticity and control in an increasingly chaotic world. Let's begin with Epictetus's powerful assertion. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. In our modern context, this wisdom takes on extraordinary relevance. We live in an age of overwhelming information and infinite choices, yet paradoxically, many feel more trapped than ever. We're flooded by news we can't influence, pressured by social media standards we can't meet, and anxious about global events we can't control. Consider how much mental and emotional energy you spend on matters beyond your control. The opinions of others, the state of the economy, the weather, the past, other people's choices. In Epictetus's view, our attachment to these uncontrollable elements is the chain that binds us. But notice the radical nature of his solution: not to try harder to control these things, but to disregard them. This isn't about ignorance or apathy. It's about emotional and mental liberation through acceptance of our true sphere of influence. Now, let's weave in Zeno's complementary insight. Man conquers the world by conquering himself. See how beautifully these wisdoms dance together. Epictetus shows us what to let go of, while Zeno points us to where our true power lies. Together, they form a complete philosophy of personal empowerment and liberation. These combined insights are revolutionary in our era of external validation and constant comparison. While we're busy trying to conquer our Instagram feed, optimize our productivity, and influence others' opinions, these philosophers tell us we're looking in the wrong direction. Think about how this applies to our daily lives. Whenever you are anxious about a situation, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, Epictetus would say to disregard it. Then, following Zeno's wisdom, turn that energy inward to master your response to the situation. Consider someone facing job uncertainty in our volatile economy. Following Epictetus, they would recognize that market conditions are beyond their control. But following Zeno, they would focus on conquering their own fears, developing their skills, and mastering their craft. This is true power. The synthesis of these wisdoms creates a robust framework for living. By releasing what we can't control, Epictetus, and mastering what we can, Zeno, we achieve both freedom and power. This isn't just philosophy, it's a practical guide for navigating our complex modern world. Look at how many modern anxieties this dual wisdom addresses. Social media comparison? Focus on conquering your need for validation rather than controlling others' perceptions. Climate anxiety? Channel your energy into mastering your environmental impact rather than despairing over global trends. The practical implications are profound. Start each day by asking two questions. What am I trying to control that I should disregard? Where can I direct that energy toward self-mastery instead? This isn't about passive acceptance or retreat from the world. Instead, it's about recognizing where our true power lies. When we stop exhausting ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable, we find enormous energy for self-development and genuine influence. To everyone watching who feels powerless in today's world, these philosophers offer a path to genuine power and freedom. It begins not with changing the world, but with mastering yourself and releasing what you cannot control. Consider implementing what I call the sphere of control practice. Draw 2 circles, one for what you can control, one for what you can't. Place your daily concerns in each circle. Then, following our philosopher's wisdom, practice disregarding the outer circle while focusing your energy on the inner one. The liberation this brings is profound. Imagine the mental and emotional energy you'd reclaim by releasing everything you can't control. Imagine the power you'd develop by redirecting that energy towards self-mastery. In our age of infinite distraction and global connectivity, this ancient wisdom becomes more relevant, not less. The more complex the world becomes, the more crucial it is to understand where our true power and freedom lie. Remember, true freedom isn't about controlling everything. It's about releasing what we can't control while mastering ourselves. Real power isn't about influencing others or circumstances, but conquering our reactions, fears, and desires. The most profound truth lies in how these philosophies complete each other. By releasing the uncontrollable, we free up energy for self-mastery. And through self-mastery, we achieve the only true freedom possible in this vast, complex world. In the vast ocean of philosophical wisdom, Epictetus offers us a stark reminder of a fundamental truth about human progress and achievement. Let's dive into this powerful insight that cuts through our modern tendencies of wishful thinking. You cannot hope to make progress in areas where you have not taken action. In our modern world, we've become masters of passive hoping. We hope to get fit while scrolling through fitness influencers' posts. We hope to write a book while watching writing tutorials. We hope to start a business while endlessly consuming entrepreneurship podcasts. But Epictetus shatters this illusion with brutal clarity. Consider how this manifests in our digital age. We've created a society of observers, of watchers, of hope holders. People watch YouTube videos about skills they never practiced, read articles about businesses they never started, and follow artists whose craft they never attempted to learn. We've mistaken inspiration for action and hope for progress. The profound truth here is the direct relationship between action and progress. Epictetus isn't merely suggesting that action is better than hope. He's stating that progress is impossible without action. This is not a gentle recommendation. It's a law of human development as immutable as gravity. Think about your own life. How many dreams are you nurturing without taking concrete steps toward them? How many skills do you wish to develop while taking no practical action to develop them? Each hope without action is not just stagnant. It's a form of self-deception. But here's the revolutionary aspect of this wisdom. It liberates us from the paralysis of perfect planning. Epictetus is telling us that imperfect action trumps perfect hope every time. The mediocre painting you actually paint teaches you more than the masterpiece you only dream about. This wisdom becomes even more crucial in our age of infinite information. We can easily fool ourselves into thinking that consuming information equals taking action. But watching 100 videos about swimming won't help you float. Only getting in the water will do that. The practical application is clear. Identify one concrete action you can take today for every hope you harbor. Not tomorrow, not when conditions are perfect. Today. Want to write? Write one paragraph. Want to get fit? Do one push-up. Want to learn a language? Learn one phrase. Remember, progress is not made in the realm of hopes and dreams, but in the world of concrete actions and tangible steps. As we conclude our philosophical exploration today, let's remember that wisdom isn't meant to be understood merely. It must be lived. These ancient insights we've discussed aren't historical artifacts, but living tools for transformation. The philosophers we've explored, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, from Seneca to Zeno, all share a common thread: the emphasis on action over contemplation, on practical wisdom over theoretical knowledge. To everyone watching these philosophical explorations, let these not be mere intellectual exercises. Let each piece of wisdom we discuss be a catalyst for action, a spark for change, and a call to concrete steps forward. Remember, philosophy without action is like a seed without soil. It holds potential, but bears no fruit. Take these ancient wisdoms and plant them in the fertile ground of daily practice. Let them grow through your actions, not just your understanding. Until our next philosophical journey together, I leave you with this challenge. Take one piece of wisdom that resonated with you today and transform it into action. In that transformation lies the true power of philosophy, not in what we know, but in how we live.